right, I'm going to go over the questions now. I ended that other video too early without actually going over each of the questions like I had promised. So here I go over the 88 questions. This is 31 of 88. Let's go all the way back to 1. Okay, 1 of 88. Okay, the different types of hypervisors. There's a type 1 hypervisor. Select all that apply, right? So this is 1 out of 88. An engineer configures a workstation for development testing by using virtualization. The engineer chooses to use a type 1 hypervisor. Which statements describe the environment? That the hypervisor is bare metal, and the hypervisor is installed and manages the hardware directly. It is not host based, and it's not installed with an OS. So it's not B and C, it is A and D. I had got this one wrong. So the answers for this one are A and D. A bare metal virtual platform means that a Type 1 hypervisor installed directly onto the computer and manages access to host hardware without going through the host OS. And then right here, in a guest OS or host-based system, a hypervisor is installed within the operating system of the physical host machine. Now 2. In this one, the answer was B. The developer asks the IT department if virtualization would be possible to test the software in a sandbox environment. The developer's workstation runs Windows 10. The central processing unit, or CPU, has virtualization technology enabled and has plenty of resources for virtual machines. Which Type 2 hypervisor does the IT staff install? The answer is B, VMware Workstation. Because VMware Workstation would be the best choice of available options. VMware Workstation is a Type 2 hypervisor that would be easy to install in Windows 10 operating systems and provide the features the developer requires. Okay, engineers need to share data between two teams' laptops devices that are located in the same office space. The speeds need to be at least 50 megabits per second. What technology should they use? It would be Wi-Fi, because every laptop, smartphone, and tablet supports a Wi-Fi radio. While some automobiles also offer built-in Wi-Fi, this technology is not used to pair two devices. So the answer would be Wi-Fi. Okay, a department within an organization would like to share a specific set of files with an external user from a Windows 10 system. The users would also need to save files as well. Which solution does the systems administrator configure without sending directly require Windows permissions? It is D, FTPS, File Transfer Protocol Secure. Okay, so 4 is FTPS. And again, you can go down here and read what the other acronyms are on this question. Okay, 5. This is a select all that apply about the IT specialist starts with the post issue and that there's no display on the monitor. This one is B, C, and D. Check for faulty devices by removing one device at a time and see if it fixes the problem. Check for faulty devices by moving all non-essential devices and adding them back one at a time. And then D, check for a faulty CPU. A technician needs to repair a laptop. Symptoms are that some keyboard characters are not typing properly and the fingerprint reader is not recognized. What type of component is the technician inspecting? It is ribbon cables. When replacing components such as a keyboard or touchpad, a connection is made to the motherboard via a data cable, typically with a flat ribbon cable type. 7, I got this one wrong. I put C and it is B, MDM. Because a mobile device management (MDM) system sets device policies for authentication, feature use, camera and microphone, and connectivity. MDM can also allow device resets and remote swipes. I picked EMM, which was Enterprise Mobility Management. It's a broader term that encompasses both MDM and MAM, so it wanted me to be more specific. So it is a MDM, the answer to 7, or this one right here. I don't know if it's in the same order for all of us, but this was my order. Okay, for 8, a printer technician works in a corporate office. Their office has multiple types of printers that require regular maintenance. Which type of printer maintenance includes replacing and properly disposing of a toner print cartridge? That is D, a laser printer maintenance. A technician plugs a USB device into a computer and notices that the speeds are slightly less than expected. The USB port and device are USB 3.x devices, and the achieved speed is roughly 9 gigabits per second. What USB standard is in use? It is a USB 3.2 Generation 2X1 because it's only going up to 10, but it's slightly slower, so it's 9, but 2x1 is goes up to 10 and 2x2 goes up to 20, right? So 10 and 2x2 capable 2 times 10, which would be 20. Okay, number 10. A user tries to connect a second monitor to a computer. The computer has an available digital visual interface, which is a DVI connector. That outputs a digital signal, and the monitor has a video graphics array, a VGA connector. A technician recommends a VGA to which type of cable? A DVI-I. DVI-I is a technology that is capable of connecting a digital source to an analog display or an analog source to a digital display. VGA to DVI-I will connect your digital computer to an analog monitor. And then it tells you why the other ones would not be useful. DVI-I is all analog to analog. DVI-A is analog to analog. DVI-I is analog to digital, and DVI-D is a single and dual link. So it's DVI-I. Systems administrators deploy a virtualization solution that separates host resources for each instance at the operating system level. Which solution is running? A container. A user contacts a printer technician to report that every print job sent to a laser printer has lines of toner in the same location on every page that is printed. What does the technician suggest may need cleaning or replacing? It is the drum. A technician troubleshoots wired connectivity issues with the device. A technician troubleshoots wired connectivity issues with the device. What should the technician check first to resolve a no connectivity issue? They should check the patch cable. A support technician helps a user identify a problem with a newly installed application. The user states that the application was working the day before. What does the technician do next? They establish a theory of probable cause. Because you identify, then you establish a theory, then you test the theory, and then you establish a plan of action to hold on, give me a second. I want to remember it on my own without having to look it up. So identify, establish the theory, test the theory. I don't know, but we're just going over this assessment right now. We'll figure this out in a minute. Establish a plan of action, and then it's document the findings. Okay, an organization experiences an internet outage as fiber is being used. An engineer checks to see if the optical signal is being properly converted to an electrical signal. The router is connected using an RJ45 copper wire patch cord. What does the engineer check? The ONT, the optical network terminal. A user states that that a smartphone does not hold a charge for as long as it did in the past and seems to charge slowly. The answer is aging battery and AC adapter. A user complains about a faulty network connection on a laptop. A tech traces the Ethernet cable in the office to a direct connection in a 16-port smart switch. This answer is A, bad cabling and faulty port and interface. So while investigating the switch's activity, it becomes apparent that the port flapping is occurring. So it's a 16-port smart switch that has port flapping. So it could be a bad cabling, a faulty port, or interference. When troubleshooting internet connectivity issues, on a wired network, the first step to make sure the patched cables are working and physically connected to the network ports. If that is not the problem, what is the next troubleshooting step? It is D. Use a loopback tool to test for bad ports. A company considers moving its infrastructure to the cloud. Management emphasizes the need to handle changes in resource usage in real time. Which feature fulfills this need? Rapid elasticity. A technician installs memory into a computer that supports a multi-channel configuration. A 4 GB module is placed in the bank A1 and a 16 GB module is placed in B1. A diagnostic tool reports that 12 GB is usable but not as multi-channel. What mode does the system use in making all the memory available? It is B, flex mode. A network administrator adds several network printers to a business network. Users can install the printers easily by browsing the resources that are available for use. Which protocol enables this capability for a Windows server-based network? It is C, LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. So they add several printers, and which protocol enables this capability within Windows server-based network? It is an LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. How many binary digits are found within a media access control address? It is 48 bytes. 48 binary digits. A user's monitor displays a distortedly large image. To fix the resolution problem, the IT specialist performed which of the troubleshooting steps? They would check the configuration of the video card and update the video card driver, B and C. Check the configuration of the video card and update the video card driver. Okay, a technician troubleshoots a motherboard issue. What the tech discovers is chip creep with a serial ATA, a SATA connector. What is the cause? That there could be a changing in temperature and the dust and dirt. Changing in temperature, dust and dirt. A technician is new to 3D printers and needs to call service for a malfunctioning printer. This technician explains that the problem is what looks like to be the printhead. What component does the tech report as a problem? It is the extruder. What is extruding the plastic out to be printed? Extruder. A remote facility cannot utilize a wired internet connection for a short period. When relying on a wireless solution, the company uses a technology that must be provisioned with a motor so it can be periodically realigned with a tray. Which internet access technology is in use? So it's basically a satellite that always has to adjust. A low Earth orbital satellite internet access. C. A technician builds a spare computer with an older motherboard and purchases a new modular power supply. What type of motherboard connector would the power supply most likely provide? It is a 20 plus 4 pin connector. Which current USB standard supports 2x10 gigabits per second and uses a USB-C connector? It is USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. Okay, I got this one wrong. I picked C, and it is B. A support firm installs and configures a network access control system for organization. This includes implementing the security mechanisms for local and remote computers to authenticate with an internal server. A switch is put in place on the edge of the network to protect the server and protect against unauthorized traffic. What role does the switch play in implementation? It is a network access server, right? I put AAA for some reason, but it's for authentication, authorization, and accounting. So it is a network access server. Okay. Here is another PBQ type question. You want to read this right here? And the answer is USB stick, 2.5 HDD, mSATA, RAM, and CPU cache. The USB does not use power, 2.5 does not use power, and mSATA does not use power to store data. And the RAM and CPU does use power to store data because as soon as the power is off, whatever was there is gone, and this sticks around without power. Okay, a new computer experiences a malfunction with a touch input device. A support engineer disassembles the computer to diagnose the problem. While troubleshooting, which component would the technician find as a 9-pin header on the motherboard? A USB port would be a 9-pin header on the motherboard. So a systems administrator looks to control HTTP requests from the client computers based on the time of day. What type of service does the administrator deploy when configuring clients in a non-transparent manner? It would be a proxy server. An engineer plans a fiber cable implementation between two campus buildings about 50 meters apart. Due to the distance between the locations, the engineer selects single mode fiber. What specifications does the engineer need to consider with this decision? B. Small core, long distance, and long wavelength. Kind of like water pressure. You want a smaller diameter of the pipe and longer wavelengths. It'd be a longer distance than as if you had a bigger um, fatter water hose. After identifying the problem with the user's computer and collecting detailed information from the user about the problem, a technician believes that they know how the cause. However, when testing the theory, the technician discovers they are wrong and may not be capable of resolving the issue. What are some appropriate troubleshooting steps for the technician to try next? It is B. Escalate, and C. Develop a new theory. A universal asynchronous receiver transmitter (UART) port was traditionally a physical serial port in a legacy system in a modern mobile device. How can a UART be utilized? By Bluetooth and USB. And you could read down here further after you answer the question. A technician explains an upgrade for several company laptops with a new internal storage device. The requirement is that the new device is interfaced with the PCIe Express bus. What type of device does the technician use? It is an M.2. Non-volatile storage devices hold data when the system is powered off. These devices are also referred to as mass storage. What are the three types of technologies that mass storage devices use? Magnetic, optical, and solid state. A user complains that a computer is too slow when opening numerous applications. A technician suggests purchasing a new computer that features CMP capabilities to handle the user's workload. Which statement describes the technician's suggestion? It is C. Multi-processing cores combined in the same process package. A company realizes that it needs to implement a management solution for mobile phones. Which solution is specific to the restriction of apps installed from a device's app store? MAM, Mobile Application Management. Now we're at 40. When upgrading the RAM on multiple standardized apps, what is the most important factor to consider to ensure compatibility with the existing hardware? The DDR version. An organization conducts a weekly video conference from its home office to its field locations. Recently, employees at the field locations have been complaining of poor audio and video quality. Which protocol does an engineer monitor for performance issues? It is UDP because they're streaming. A company implements a new wireless infrastructure. During the installation, an engineer adjusts the signal of all antennas for optimal performance. Which settings does the engineer use to measure dBi? The antenna gain. A technician needs to troubleshoot problems. When problem solving, what are the three items that define a problem? The cause, the symptom, and the consequence. A technician is managing configuration settings in Windows for a LaserJet printer. From the printer's properties dialog box, among the following options, which is not commonly found in the printer's properties dialog box? It is C, print in color and black and white, because this is a preference, not a property. An engineer troubleshooting a network connection identifies a port flapping problem. What should the engineer investigate as a probable cause? It is Ethernet cable, NIC port, and the switch port. 46. A company plans on live streaming a company-wide meeting once a month. Engineers prepare network equipment to allow the traffic. Which protocol is normally used for such a task? It is UDP for streaming. The office laser printer starts printing pages that smudge easily. The IT specialist is proficient in the common printing defects of a laser printer and knows what is causing the problem. What will the IT specialist do to fix the problem? It is replace the fuser because the toner isn't fusing to the paper properly. 48. A computer technician replaces the power supply in a desktop. To do this, the technician needs to know the output of the current power supply unit. What is the PSU output capability measured as? The wattage rating. 49. This is another scenario. I got 23 out of 26 correct, and this is the one that I had said earlier. So it would be Google. The email address would be jdo, and the company would be at. And here we would need not prompt for fingerprint. It would only be email. All we need is the email for the MFA. And here we would need to check calendar, contacts, and Google Drive and Gmail. So, and the other ones don't need to be ticked. And here you want to disable USB tethering, enable Wi Fi hotspots, and enable Bluetooth tethering. And here you'd want it to be WPA2 security PSK, and the password needs to be as complex as possible. Okay, 50. This one, the technician suspect is causing the problem of the mouse cursor moving on its own, as reported by the user, and that is related to adjusting the device settings to fit the specific user device or environment. It would be calibration. What is a class of management software designed to apply security policies to the use of mobile devices and apps in the enterprise? It is B, EMM, Enterprise Mobility Management. What is the modern Android based smartphone and tablet connector for wired peripherals and charging? That is USB C. So 43. A user complains about the quality of display on a laptop. The user mentions that the laptop has been in use since the company started many years ago. It determines that the display uses a very early thin film transistor (TFT) technology and will replace the laptop. Which TFT technology does the display use? It is a twisted pneumatic is the older ones, and in-plane switching is newer. So, which cloud characteristic handles changes in demand requirements in real time? That is rapid elasticity. A technician looks to wire an office for a medium-sized local area network. When considering the available standards and speeds, the technician decides to implement gigabit Ethernet. What specific standard does a technician use? That is 1,000 base T, which would be like 1,000 megabytes, 1,000 megabits, which equals 1 gigabit. So this answer is 1,000 base T. A college would like to implement a secured print solution so that print jobs do not arrive at a printer until a printer is physically interacted with. This will help prevent students from potentially picking up faculty print jobs. Select all that apply. It is a pin code and badging. Several users of a shared printer complain that the printer is printed on both sides of the sheet of paper when it should only print on one side. What settings does a technician change? That is duplex settings. 58. If there is not enough system random access memory, the memory space can be extended by using disk storage as page file or swap space. What is this combination of addressable memory called? That is virtual RAM. A shared printer handles a lot of print jobs for a medium-sized company. As of late, all the users are complaining about the print jobs having a speckled output. What does a printer maintenance technician find to be the problem? It is toner is loose in the printer. 60. A hardware technician replaces the central processing unit on an advanced micro device's motherboard. What must be applied when connecting the heatsink to the CPU? That is thermal grease. 61. A security team at a company discovers that malware is rapidly moving from one virtual machine to another in a live environment. What security issue is occurring? That is escape. It's escaping. Another PBQ. You got 9 out of 9 correct, so I got this one correct. It is the adjust the brightness if it's dim. If it's glitching, check or replace cabling. If it's stuck or dead pixels, try to reactivate via touch or software. If there's an image burn-in or ghosting, you use automatic screensavers. artwork color output differs, then displays calibrate color to the output device, and then no image is displayed. Verify the source in the OSD menu. And here is DisplayPort. To minimize cabling, audio, video can be sent over a single cable using HDMI or a DisplayPort. A flickering image could also be caused by the display's backlight or what other components starting to fail. The circuitry could be failing. Okay, when working, a projector makes a pop sound. This may be an indication of a burned bulb. And this one, a laptop technician in a large corporation needs to upgrade the hard drives on employee laptops. Currently, the laptops have standard 5400 RPM, 500 gigabyte magnetic drives. The technician needs to know what physical drive size to order. What is the normal size for a laptop magnetic drive? It is 2.5 inch. A PC tech plugs in a X4 PCIe adapter into an X8 socket. What speed would the card be capable of running? Select all that apply. An X1 and an X4. A large technical firm deploys a cloud service. The service offers cloud storage along with web development capabilities. What deployment model does the firm utilize when a multi-tiered subscription option is available to general consumers? It is a public. 65. So 66. This answer is A and D, not B. The projector in the conference room is experiencing intermittent shutdowns. The technician begins troubleshooting by checking all the connector cables. What is the next troubleshooting steps for the technician? They would check the vents are free of dust and check that the fan is working because it's overheating. All right. 67. A manufacturing firm uses an older Windows NT computer to operate a unique piece of machinery. To support such a legacy system on the network, what common port settings are enabled for communications? That is 137 through 139 net BIOS. While troubleshooting a user's computer that has no power, the technician eliminated these possible causes: power supply cabling, wall socket, and connection issues. Therefore, which of the following could be the problem? It is C, a faulty motherboard. A technician follows the best practice methodology when troubleshooting a problematic computer system. Which of the following represents the consequence of having a problematic computer? That is D, data required for a meeting is missing. Which of the following solutions can address occasional overheating in a system positioned safely away from other objects by promoting airflow to cool down the internal components? That is, install a new system fan and use blanking plates. A printer technician receives a complaint from multiple users sharing a laser printer that pages they are printing are faded or faint. Upon troubleshooting, the technician ruled out user and server settings. What hardware component of the laser printer needs replaced to fix this error? It is D, a toner cartridge. Okay, this one, an engineer plans to use a new wireless infrastructure rollout that needs a 13-watt power supply over Ethernet, so that one would be B802.3AF. A small call center office asks their IT service provider to implement a voice over IP system for them. After discussing the office needs, the technician learns that their ability to make and receive phone calls is critical. And this one, you would need to configure the QoS on the router. A data scientist needs to run complex algorithms and machine learning programs that require a significant amount of computing power. The scientist tells the company's IT pro that their current computer is too slow and their data is backed up daily. What RAID configuration would be the best for the data scientist where they don't need redundancy? It is RAID 0 for speed. RAID 0. So 75 out of 88. Okay. A systems administrator is wanting to use a process in which the TCP protocol is used to query and update an X.500 directory. What can be used to accomplish this task? An LDAP, a lightweight directory access protocol. 76. An organization looks to harden email services. The systems administrator uses every possible option to help prevent spam and other anomalies. During the final stages of configuration, the systems administrator creates a policy within the domain name system to handle authentication errors. Which record is being configured? The DMARC. The answer is D, Mark. Domain based message authentication. I put domain keys, but it's D, Mark. 77. Which type of virtualization refers to any solution designed to run on ordinary desktops or workstations? It is D, client side virtualization, because you're a client. Okay, a critical system is set to use secure boot. What properties are characteristic of the secure boot process, and select all that apply? It is the firmware is configured with cryptographic keys. The operating system bootloader is digitally signed. 79. An engineer investigates a new unified threat management appliance to replace an aging firewall. Which website browsing feature can the engineer expect the appliance to have? Content filtering. Because it couldn't be these. That was process of elimination, data loss, workflow automation, and load balancing. Content is on the internet. So, content filtering. 80. A computer has 3 disk drives. Which of the following RAID configurations would commonly be utilized with such a setup? It is RAID 0 and RAID 5. If you have 3 disks, you can use RAID 0 and RAID 5. Select all that apply. What service provides on-demand resources like server instances, file storage, databases, or applications over a network? This was a trick one because I picked SaaS at one time, but it is cloud computing because it's everything. It's not just software as a service or infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. It was all of them. So it is cloud computing. 82. A printer technician troubleshoots a laser printer and determines that the exposing stage of the print job is the issue with the print job's printing incorrectly. What does the technician suspect is happening? The image drum is not properly losing its charge. A user traveling on business reports that a company-owned device suffered damage to the screen during a trip. A technician notices cracks on the screen and determines that the touch input is no longer recognized. Visual elements on the screen look fine. What components need replacing? The digitizer and the protective glass. 84. A hard disk drive in a system experiences extended read and write times. What is likely the cause? It is bad sectors and bad blocks. 85. A college campus is spread throughout an entire city. There is a plan to upgrade the connectivity to all buildings for increased speed. What type do engineers upgrade? A MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. An employee at an organization requests a laptop upgrade. The request is for a laptop that is extremely lightweight. There is also a requirement for the fastest speeds possible in order to demo the company's software to potential clients. With these requirements in mind, which drive type should the laptop have? B. An M.2. This is 87, the 7 out of 10 correct. So the answer is you only take solid state drives and GUI. Those are not components that are integrated to the motherboard. And the only one that I got right is PCIe 16. I do not know the answers to these yet, but I'll take it again. Hopefully, I can get it right. And the last question, an engineer configures 6 disks in a workstation to be part of a redundant array of independent disks. Volume, where 1/6 of the space on each disk would be used for parity. Which RAID type does the engineer implement? A5. 5 uses parity. Okay, and that's it. We're done. Those are all of the questions. Again, if you have any problems or any questions that you need help on and that even I don't know, we can get some studying time together or kind of figure out the answers together. Again, I want everybody to pass. If you have any questions, please let us know. It's me or Carlos, especially. He's the instructor, but I really like to help. So, thank you.